My name is Lotte Geeven. I grew up in Brabant, where we are now. And when I was 17, I moved to Amsterdam. I went to the Rietveld Academy. And afterwards, I went to the Rijks Academy.
Hi, I'm Jack Gallagher. I live in Brabant for a little over a year. I've lived in Holland for 17 years. But I come originally from the United States. And I'm a dancer choreographer, working on location with Lotte in this interesting townhouse. The audience is invited to see a solo by Naima Sommenkal. And it's 10 minutes. It's part of a promenade performance. She's going to be wrapped in bubble pack, and she's going to emerge out of this partially constructed hypersensitive room and assert herself by achieving a kind of practice, a kind of spiritual practice, which is the concept that we started out with, although it's evolved quite a lot since we started working together. The original concept was, what do we do when we want to find ourselves? What kind of practices are famous for that? And when we talk about ourselves, it's really about a body experience. It's something Lotte was very interested in from the beginning, is how consciousness evolves through regular activity, which you have experience with.
Yes. Yeah, so all the surfaces of this room are very fragile and sensitive. And yeah, we can show later upstairs how it works, but within part of this room we made microphones so that all the sounds you are unable to hear are amplified. So even the smallest movements will be amplified. And as you can see here, the performer has been rehearsing, and she leaves traces already after a few minutes of rehearsing. So slowly, this room will be completely trashed during all the stages of the performance.
Yeah. So again, it's this beautiful resonance of the hypersensitivity concept, that when things are sensitive, that means that the impact of the initial signal goes on. And so there's an echo visually in the traces that she leaves in destruction. And there's an echo sonically of what she does. And yeah, we're trying to find the point where it still sustains itself, and when and where and why might there be a breaking point.
Drama.
Yeah.
fact that there will be people here and that there will be an audience around, very close, being able to touch the material and to make the sounds with the material, because it's all very sensitive and it can break very easily. I mean, the dancer is going to do the same. She's going to be in contact with the surfaces of this room during the whole performance.
We do have to account for the behavior of the audience without knowing exactly what it will be beforehand, or we make assumptions, we make even little scripts, we compile our expectations, and then we will see.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's especially interesting with children as an audience. Of course, it's also their parents, but besides the fact that it brings out the child in me, which I enjoy very much, it allows you to imagine interacting with your own work in a more innocent and more physical and more, in a way, more biological way.
I was hoping to be thrown in the deep and to be confused, and that's what happened. And actually, I was always very interested in movement, and lately I've been using people in my works, really recently. And now working really close also with a dancer and a choreographer, I thought maybe there's so many things to find out about what it is to work with a human instead of with wood or styrofoam or so. And the expectations are coming out. I'm confused.
I had hoped that Lotte, being a visual artist, would look with completely different eyes at the body as material, the body as object, the dancer as a speaking form. And I kind of knew that it would be intimidating because the body changes so much, and choreography is about change. So the friction between Lotte's way of working and my way of creating images were expected and welcomed, especially on location, so that we don't get stuck in the architecture of a theater and the traditions and the expectations that come with that. So,
well, I think I'm a maker, and Jack is a philosopher and thinker, and amongst many other things. And I think in our ways of communicating, especially in the beginning of the project, I was sending your loads of images how the space was changing. How did you feel?
You really got busy, and a dialogue was born, which was sort of paralinguistic. You know, it exists a bit through language. It's mediated, but that's not really where it's taking place. It's taking place in the images and the provocations that come from radical experiments. And Lotte has been very far, I wouldn't say all over the world, all over the map, but very far extended in different directions with real trials, with practical experiments with creating something that actually a lot of I could see myself working in. And so the excitement grows from all the possibilities. And then it's a very unusual thing to describe how things get selected, because it's happening under or around the linguistic dialogue, but somehow ideas get grabbed onto, they get selected, and then the consequences of those start to take hold, and then the new propositions come. In a way. I mean, you come together, you go apart, sometimes nothing happens for 4 days, and then sometimes in one day you move like 6 steps further, like today.
Yeah. Working on a commissioned work is like sometimes good for me because it delivers parameters and things you have to react upon. Just like, I mean, we have to react on each other and on each other's media, the things we work with. And with that come restrictions, and with that come difficulties and boundaries. And I mean, those are the best thing you can encounter as an artist or as a maker or as a thinker, because that's something that moves you forward.
There is a very specific sort of mission which you have to determine as soon as possible with a commissioned work, and I find that an advantage also. There's this idea that people expect something from you based on why they chose you, which I also find very interesting. So in a way, a commission is a kind of acknowledgement about things that you do well, which are appealing, and then that strengthens that brings more confidence to your process.